Hey everybody, Will with Studio Zombie 3D here again with another unboxing setup video. This time it's the new Anycubic Kobra 3D printer. Let's get right into it. First thing we're going to do is get it out of the box. Anycubic packs their printers pretty tight in these things. There's lots of foam to make sure nothing comes loose and everything's safe. Alright, let's just get rid of this box. Alright, here we are. Let's take a look at what we got here. Once we remove the top cover, you'll be able to see the gantry and the accessory package in the screen. First, let's pull out the accessory package. We'll take a closer look at this in a minute. Here's our spool holder for our filament. And here's our touch screen. This is the same style screen that the Viper has as well. Next, let's get the gantry out. It's a pretty solid little unit with the 1Z. And then here we have their new direct drive extruder. Alright, let's get the base out. Alright, and here's our base. Let's get rid of the foam and get everything laid out on the table. Alright, now that we have it laid out, let's take a look. Here we have a tube of grease for your D-axis. We have a plastic clip for holding the wires in place. We have the USB stick with the 8 gig SD card. We have our instruction manual with how to put it together. We have our various screws for the assembly. An extra length of Bowden and an extra nozzle. Our sample filament. Here's our USB cable for connecting to the computer. Our power cable. And then we have our tools on the side here, the Allen keys. And here's our LCD screen. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is get the gantry installed onto the base of the printer. Anycubic printers are really easy to put together. They have grooves in the sides where the gantry will hold in place. Just tip it on the side, being sure to make sure that the extruder doesn't slide and slam into the table. Then just install the 2 screws on each side. Alright, and then attach the screws to the other side. Just make sure you slide the extruder over so you don't have it slam on the side when you tip it. Install these 2 screws and you have the gantry in place and you're ready to move on. Alright, now we can move on to the final connections. First thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in the stepper motors on the Z-axis. A nice thing about the Anycubic Kobra is you don't have to worry about plugging it in the end stops. It uses sensorless homing. Be sure to plug in your X-axis And then finally your ribbon cable goes into the extruder. Alright, just make sure to push the plug into place tightly and the prongs on the side will lock it in. Next we can move on. Now, using the supplied clip, we're going to attach the ribbon cable to the X gantry, making sure to leave enough cable for the extruder to hit both sides without either pulling or pinching the cable. Alright, once we have this tight, we're going to check with the extruder to make sure it can go both sides without pulling or pinching the cable. Alright, and we look pretty good. Now we can move on to finalizing this setup. Now, using the 3 supplied screws, there's a long and 2 short. We're going to attach the LCD to the front. Once we have the LCD attached, just plug in the cable and we can move on to powering on the printer and testing it. Alright, the last thing we have to do now is make sure our power supply is switched to the right voltage for our country. I live in Canada, so I had to make sure mine is set to 115. With some of the switches on these power supplies, they tend to stick, so make sure you got it pushed all the way over and you hear it click. There, and I give it a little push just to make sure. Now we're ready to power it on. Now, let's take a look at the LCD screen. Underneath System, we have Language, Voice, and About. This is running 2.79. Next, we have our Prepare menu, with the auto leveling, the preheat, and the filament. Under Tools, we have the Move Axis, which we can home all the axes. We have the temperature, where we can set our hot end and bed, speed for our print speed and fan speeds, and then our motor control. Also, the print menu. Now, new to the Anycubic Kobra, they have the inductive magnetic sensor, part of the LeviQ leveling system. Test it with an Allen key just to make sure it's working. The light will light up once a piece of metal gets underneath it. Now we're ready to level. Now, all we have to do is hit prepare, leveling, and then auto level. Alright, once the Kobra reaches temperature, it'll probe 25 points. Alright everybody, that's it. We got our Anycubic Kobra up and running. Thanks for watching this unboxing and setup video. I'll have the first look and review videos out right away, followed by the calibration. It's been a pretty crazy month here in the studio and I've got a few more printers to get through. I can't wait to show you guys more of what's been going on. Alright, that's it for another video everybody. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe And be sure to check out the Studio Zombie 3D Instagram for more of what's going on in studio. See you in the next video, everybody.